And welcome back to Slick Picks. This is episode 16 for championship weekend in college football. We've got a couple breakdowns. We've got a huge card. Had to break out the sports coat because we're making a lot of money this weekend. Got 16 plays on the card this weekend, so stay tuned and pick what you like. We're going to break down 4 of the championship games. I'm recording this before the last episode is over, so we still got some championship games tonight. So I don't have my total, but I imagine we're going to go 6-0 from last episode and make a lot of money. But here we go. We're going to break down all of these championship games that we have this weekend. Good weekend of college football. I have 10 college football picks, 3 college basketball picks, and 3 NFL picks this weekend. So we're cashing in on our last couple weeks of football. We start off on the Big Ten championship game. We've got number 14 Northwestern versus number 4 Ohio State. Ohio State is an 18.5 point favorite. The over-under is set at 55.5. Number crunching has it had Northwestern 24.25. Ohio State 30.59, over under set at 54.84. So Vegas is seeing something that we don't see with the spread, and they've got the over under right about right. Northwestern is 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. 6 of the last 7 games that Northwestern has played have gone under. 6 of the last 7 have gone over between these two teams. Ohio State has to win pretty convincingly to make a good case for the playoffs, especially if Notre Dame, Clemson ends close and both of them get in. Northwestern has a great defense. I think they're averaging like 13 or 16 points per game in the Big Ten. Lots of low-scoring games. Ohio State's defense isn't that great. Ohio State's offense is really good, but they haven't played much this year. They've only played 5 games. So I think 18.5 is a lot for this game. I think this is going to be a close, nitty-gritty game. I don't think Ohio State's going to be able to score a bunch of points against a good Northwestern defense. If I had to lean either way, I would lean towards Northwestern plus 18.5, maybe a 2-touchdown game, maybe a 1-touchdown game, but definitely not a 3-touchdown game. And I'd stay away from the over-under. I actually see it right at 54, 55. I'd lean under if I had to pick one. So I would go Northwestern plus 18.5, under 55.5. Next, we got the Big 12 championship game. We've got number 10 Oklahoma versus number 6 Iowa State. Oklahoma is a 5.5 point favorite. The number set at 58.5. Going off of their season averages, I've got Oklahoma 32.37 and Iowa State 28. Number set at 60.37. Oklahoma is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. Oklahoma is 0-5 against the spread in their last 5 matchups against Iowa State. Iowa State is 4-1 against the spread in the last 5. The over has gone 8 out of the last 9 times between these two teams. I really like Iowa State. I like them with the number. I like them with the money line. Oklahoma is starting to get better, but Iowa State is just a run it down your throat. Their quarterback's pretty solid. Their defense is solid. I think this is going to be a great game. This is going to be one of the games that I'm really looking forward to on Saturday. If I had to lean either way, I would go Iowa plus 5.5, and I would also go over 58.5. I think we're going to see a lot of points here. I think Oklahoma is still going to be able to score 20, 25 points. I think Iowa is going to be able to keep right up with them with their run game against Oklahoma's defense. Yeah, I really like Iowa here. I don't see how they're a 5.5 point dog. I would expect them to be closer to a 3 or 1.5. I really expected this to be a pick'em game, but I would ride Iowa State on this. Next, we got the SEC championship game. We've got Alabama versus Florida. Alabama is a 17.5 point favorite. Over under is set at 73.5 based on their games this year. I've got it at Alabama 37.9 and Florida 29. Alabama 7-0 against the spread in the last 7. Alabama unders have hit 4 of the last 6 times. This is mostly because they have a really good defense. Florida has gone over 8 of their last 12 games, and the over has gone 5 out of the last 6 between these two teams. I think Alabama absolutely blows the doors off of them. I don't think this is a competitive game at all. Florida's still going to be able to score 14, 17, 20 points, but Alabama's going to score as many as they want to. I'd take Alabama first half, Alabama game. I'd take the over, and yeah, I would hammer Alabama as much as you can, as many different lines as you can get. Florida coming off a loss to a 4-5 LSU team, have not looked good. Defense is awful. Alabama's offense is one of the best in the nation, and Alabama's defense is one of the best in the nations. It'll be, if Pitts plays, then maybe we can see a couple more points out of Florida. But yeah, I think 17.5 is a fair number. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Alabama win by 30 here, honestly. Next, we got a rematch of the game of the year. We've got number 3 Clemson versus number 2 Notre Dame. Clemson is a 10.5 point favorite. Over under is set at 59.5 based on their numbers this year. I've got it at Clemson 31.5 and Notre Dame 28. Clemson has gone over 5 of the last 6 games. Notre Dame has gone over 6 of their last 9 games. I don't think we're going to see the same game that we saw earlier this year. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is going to play in this game, and Dabo has a lot to prove in this game. I don't think Notre Dame is as good as they played in that first game, and Notre Dame's going to have to play up to stay in the playoff conversation if they lose this game. If they get blown out, then I don't think they make the playoffs. That being said, I like the 10.5 for Clemson, and I like the over. I think we're going to see a lot of points from Clemson. I think this is going to be a revenge game. This could be one of Trevor Lawrence's last college games. I think he's going to ball out. And Notre Dame's defense has looked good against subpar ACC offenses. This was a close game with a backup quarterback the first time, and I don't think it's going to be a close game this time. I can see Clemson winning by 2-3 touchdowns. I think 10.5 is pretty safe. I think the over 59.5 is pretty safe also. So those are our 4 breakdowns of the championship games this week. We've got a big card. We've got 16 plays. We're going to go all out for the last full weekend of college football. So let's go ahead and get into that. I've got Northwestern plus 18.5 at minus 110, 1 unit. Like I said, I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think Ohio State's that great of a team. I think Northwestern's defense can keep it close, and 18.5 is a lot of points. I've got Iowa State money line plus 186 against Oklahoma. Iowa State is just a nitty-gritty football team. I think this is going to be a close game. I would take the plus 5.5 or plus 6.5, whatever it's to now. But yeah, I like Iowa State money line. I think this will be a close last possession of the game type game. Plus 186, put 1 unit on that. I've got Clemson minus 10.5. Like I just said, I see this as a 2 to 3 touchdown game at minus 106. I put 1 unit on that. I've also got 1 unit on the over 59.5 between Clemson and Notre Dame. That's sitting at minus 112. San Jose State versus Boise State. I've got their money line plus 198. Boise State hasn't played that good this year, and we don't know who their quarterback is going to be. San Jose State is ranked 24th. I like them in an upset here, plus 198. I've got Alabama minus 17.5 at minus 110. I put 1 unit on that. I think this is going to be an absolute blowout. This is the best Alabama team that we've seen in the last couple years. I've also got Alabama first half minus 10.5. That's at even money. I put 1 unit on that. Texas A&M minus 13.5, sitting at minus 118 versus Tennessee. They're going to play this game before the SEC championship game. So A&M's going to have to play for their way into the playoff. If one of these teams stumble, they're going to be right there to get in. I think you're going to see Texas A&M running up the score, scoring as many points as they can, trying to get some style points in. I like A&M minus 13.5. Got Air Force and Army under 38.5 at -110. These are the two slowest offenses in the nation and the two toughest defenses in the nation. Both of these are very run-heavy, run-down-the-clock teams. We saw Air Force pass the ball a little bit against Nevada a couple weeks ago, but I don't think we're going to see that again. Going to see a lot of long possessions, a lot of running, and a lot of punting. Under 38.5 here. Got Ole Miss versus LSU. I've got Ole Miss -1.5 at -108. I think Lane Kiffin's got a really good thing going on, and I think LSU just kind of caught Florida at the right time last week. So I'm going to take Ole Miss -1.5 on this. Next, we got some basketball, some college basketball on Saturday. We've got Gonzaga and Iowa, and what should be a really good game. Going to get lost in the college football slate. But I've got Gonzaga -3.5 at -110. The 17-day layoff doesn't really bother me too much. Iowa, while they're scoring a lot of points, they're giving up a lot of points too. And Gonzaga is the best team in the nation. If they get past here, I think they finish the year undefeated. The layoff doesn't concern me. I like the 3.5. I can see this being a 9-10 point game. I've got Ole Miss versus Dayton -1.5 at -106. Ole Miss is looking good, and I like them against Dayton. Then we've got Chattanooga +10.5 at -110 versus UAB. Chattanooga 7-0 on the year, has only not covered once. I think they're 5-1 against the spread. They're making me a lot of money this year. I like this spot. 10.5 is a lot of points. I think they can keep it close, even if they don't win against a higher ranked team. I think they can keep it close. Moving on to Sunday, we have a sneaky good Sunday card too. We've got 2 NFL games on Saturday. I'm just basically going to be glued to the recliner on Saturday, watching all the championship games, and we got 2 games on Saturday for the NFL. Starting off on Sunday, I've got the Bears money line versus the Vikings +142. I really like this team with Mitch back in the folds. Really was kind of a close game the first time around. I like Mitch better as the quarterback. I think the money line is a pretty safe bet, sitting at +142. So we'll see if we can make some plus money. We got the Washington football team versus the Seahawks. Dwayne Haskins is going to be the quarterback here, so take that into consideration. We've got the Seahawks coming to the West Coast for a 1:00 game. We saw them struggle against the Giants, similar team, backup quarterback, really good defense. I like Washington football team catching a West Coast team at 1:00. It's going to be a tough, nitty game. I don't know what the line is at, but I would take the under. It's going to be a nasty, physical football game. I like the Washington football team to squeak one out at +245. Then our hammer pick of the week, we've got the Chiefs and the Saints. Drew Brees is coming back for this game. Michael Thomas is out. Chiefs are at -3 at -110. Putting 2 units on it. Really like this spot for the Chiefs. I'm not buying the Saints at all, especially on the road here against the Chiefs. I'm taking the 3 points. I can see this being a touchdown, 10-point game. Alrighty. So that's our card for the weekend. Got a big weekend coming up. Hopefully we can cash in on most of these 16 picks. Make sure you're checking out www.slickpicksports.com. Put the full card there. Our latest episodes and all of the episodes are on there. We're going to have some more content on there too. Make sure you're following us on Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Alrighty. Well, have a good weekend. Winding down our last full weekend before bowl season. So good luck with your picks this weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.